Thank you so much for joining. Let's go ahead and start today's class by coming into a comfortable seated position of your choice. Maybe that's crisscross applesauce. Maybe you send your legs out long. Maybe you bring a block or a pillow or anything else under your hips. Really lengthen the spine up. Begin to allow the shoulders to relax. Maybe the eyes start to blur over or eyelids grow heavy. As we breathe here, we'll allow our breath to start to become a little more intentional. Letting our inhales become a little longer and our exhales a little smoother. We'll take a moment to notice the temperature of the air that surrounds our bodies. We'll maybe notice any sounds in our room or maybe distant that are traveling in. And even with that big breath, maybe noticing any smells or aromas that might be in your space in this moment. As we really allow ourselves to dial into an awareness of our external experience. With that same attention to detail, we'll start to turn our awareness inward. Starting to have an awareness of our internal experience. We'll notice that breath for just a moment, breathing in for a count of 3, pausing, holding the air at the top for a count of 3, and then extending our exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll continue this breathing exercise, breathing in for 3, pausing for 3, and then exhaling for 6 on our own for a few rounds of breath here. And after a couple of rounds, you start to get the flow of it. You're more than welcome to release the count and simply feel short inhale, short pause, long, steady exhale to release. Today, we're going to focus on asking ourselves 5 questions as we look for an awareness of our internal experiences. The first of these questions, we'll start to ask ourselves here in this space. Being in this moment, in my body, in my breath, what feels like pain? And then once you've answered that question, the second question is, in this moment, in your body, what feels like sensitivity? Maybe it's an itch or an ache. It's not quite a pain yet. It's just a sensitivity, an annoyance. And then once you've answered that question, in your body, in your breath, in your emotions even, what feels like pleasure in this moment? And then asking, what feels neutral? It doesn't feel great, it doesn't feel bad, neither negative or positive. It just simply is. And then finally, the last question being, am I doing this movement, this action, this emotion, this feeling? Is it based on fear or on love? Because there are only fear and love. And our lives flow between these two. We either act or speak out of love or fear. We can think of that fear as just a wave in the ocean of love. The next time you speak or act or move, notice if it's coming from a place of fear or love. And just as the wave is a part of the ocean, fear will come and fear will go and dissolve into that love. We can remember that waves are turbulent and they can cause damage like a tsunami. But it is the simple ocean that holds it all. It is the ocean that is vast and wide, like love. So as we breathe here, feel how there is both love and fear in your heart. Imagine the fear as a wave in the ocean of your love. Beautiful job today. Allow our breathing to return to its natural rhythm if we haven't already. And we'll take this moment to offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude that we've come today to meet ourselves in this sacred space, to bring an awareness to our experiences. And then as you're ready, we'll start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open. And we'll start to add some gentle movement to our practice. All righty, sitting up really tall on your inhale. Let's start to move our shoulders forward, down, back, and around. We'll move them in unison as we go around. You can allow the hands to rest on your thighs or maybe on the floor next to you. Really exaggerate the circular shoulder movement, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears, up and around. And then let's reverse them, taking them again in unison, back, down, around. Great job. All right, last breath here. Go ahead and pause, find stillness. And let's bring one hand to our heart and one hand to our abdomen. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you just simply take a moment to check in with our 5 questions. What is pain? In this moment, what is sensitive? What is pleasure? What is neutral? And is this movement, is this action, is this moment coming from a place of fear or a place of love? Throughout our class, we'll come back to these 5 questions. You're welcome to play with them at any point. You can also use that 3-3-6 breath. It's a great focus for your mind throughout our class. Go ahead and release the hands. Bring them to a prayer at heart center. With our exhale, we'll release the hands down by the hips. Flip the palms up as we circle hands overhead. Maybe gaze follows. The hands can stay wide or maybe start to touch. But once they do, let's reverse, flipping the palms away from us, drawing our chin to our chest. As we circle hands back to prayer at heart center. We'll take this rotation through the shoulders and the neck on our own. Maybe checking in with those questions as you do. Maybe there's an achiness, a sensitivity of the shoulders. Maybe stretching and yawning the shoulders and arms up just feels so releasing and pleasurable. Or maybe it just feels neutral today, neither good nor bad. All right, last breath here. Next time the arms are up, let them pause there. We have 2 options. We're going to flip our palms. If you like to bring your fingertips together, you can bring your fingertips together and then flip the palms towards the ceiling. If that's too much on your shoulders, just bring them out to the sides and then flip the palms. Similar movement, but we're getting just a little bit of space in the shoulders if you need that. Alrighty, with those arms up and overhead, we're going to start to take the torso in a circle, almost like you're drawing on the ceiling a big circle. All right, and go ahead and reverse that. Pause here. And as we exhale, we're going to draw the hands, maybe still fingers interlaced or palms flipped down towards shoulder height. Arms still extended though, and then curl chin to chest, rounding through the spine here. Beautiful job. Bring it back to your prayer at heart center to release that flow, and then we'll drop our hands down to our lap once more. All righty, we're going to get back into some shoulder rolls, but this time we're going to do it one at a time, taking it forward, back and around, noticing maybe sides and abdominal muscles as well as the shoulders. And then reverse them. Almost like you're doing a backstroke in a pool. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and pause. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Hold them for 3. And then with an exhale, release. Inhale. I'll pause at the top for a count of 3. Exhale to release. Take this a couple times on your. All righty, finding stillness through the shoulders, the neck. Go ahead and drop the right ear down towards the right shoulder. We're going to hold it here for just a moment, taking a few deep breaths and seeing with each exhale if you can soften into this release. Great job. Drop chin to chest. Really pull your shoulders back so you can feel the stretch through the lower part of the neck. Great job. Roll left shoulder to left ear. Your exhale, soften you into the stretch. Exhale, chin to chest. Next, inhale, right ear to right shoulder. And then start to add a little bit of fluid movement between those 3 points. Letting your breath guide you, rolling from left to right ear, bringing chin to chest. You can go back and forth a few times, or it might feel really nice to take full circles. Just being mindful, if you take full circles after a couple of times around, go ahead and reverse them. Again, maybe you check in with your 5 questions: pain, sensitivity, neutrality, positivity, fear or love. All right, go ahead and find a little bit of stillness through the neck and shoulders. For our next inhale, let's bring our arms up to shoulder height. Reach the fingertips out and point them away from you. We're going to take 3 little circles forward. And then let's take 3 little circles backwards. Great job. Our next inhale lifts those arms up and overhead. And with an exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips, taking our hands in front of us, maybe to the floor or even to a prop, as we find a beautiful hinge into a forward fold, noticing how that feels through the lower spine. Beautiful job. Begin to walk your hands back towards your legs. And you can either keep them on your legs or bring them behind you to the floor or to a prop. But we're going to take it into a back bend, pressing into the hands wherever they're located, lifting our heart, maybe starting to lift the chin. Beautiful arch through the spine back. Great job. As we inhale, come back the arms to a T. We're going to go through this one more time. Maybe the circles are a little tighter, a little smaller. And then 3 back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge, find your fold. Stay for your next exhale. Inhale, slides the hands back. The legs are behind you. Take it into the back bend. Great job. Inhale to straight spine. Great job. All right, let's go ahead and take our feet a little wider than hip distance, but not to their full widest potential. Just like more like a triangle shape here. Flex through the feet. You can have a bend in the knees or you can send them out long. And then with our next inhale, allow your arms to circle out. Now again, you can keep them wide or maybe bring them together. You can keep them in a prayer, or if you like to take a bind with the bottom fingers, interlacing them and point your pointer finger and thumb, you're more than welcome to do that. We're going to take a sunflower-like movement here as we take our fingertips. We're going to point them towards our right toes, then down, sweep them towards the ground and around towards our left toes, and then back up towards the ceiling. Take this at your own pace, go as fast or as slow. Maybe check in with those 5 questions or focus on your breathing. Last time around this direction, when you reach the top, pause and then reverse it. Alrighty, last one, pause, exhale to release, hands by side. Go ahead and take those legs even wider, maybe just a little bit wider, maybe wider, but whatever feels good for you. We're gonna lengthen through our spine. As we exhale, we're gonna twist towards our right leg. And then bring your left hand to the center of your space, either on the floor or on a prop, and begin to dip your left shoulder towards your right leg. Now, again, it doesn't have to make any contact, but we're getting a nice twist through the spine here as we drip. You can keep your hand on the floor, you could reach it towards your leg or even your foot. Your right hand can be behind you, supporting you, or maybe even lift it back behind you if you would like to go even deeper into the twist. Great job. Exhale to release through center. Inhale to lengthen towards your left leg. Exhale, take that right shoulder towards your left leg. Again, maybe you're dipping it, maybe you're reaching it. Maybe left hand lifts, if that feels good in your body. Exhale to release, come through center. And then feel free to take any movement you'd like as you start to come on up to standing. We'll come into our mountain pose, getting there in our own time and in our own way. We'll come feet hip distance apart, whatever feels good for you. And we're going to revisit that flow we took from a seated position just a minute ago, but from a standing position. So we bring our arms out wide to a T. We're going to take 3, but this time big circles with our shoulders. And then reverse them. Ready, inhale, arms circled up. Exhale, rain it down for your forward fold. Hands can rest on floor. Prop or your legs, keeping a nice generous bend in your knees. Beautiful job. Press into your hands to halfway lift, figure 7. Gaze stays down. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Go ahead and drop the hips, sink into the knees, and then roll it on up to standing. Once your shoulders and head arrive, allow one or both hands to circle overhead. Maybe the gaze follows. Hands can stay apart or come together, but we're going to start to lean it into a back bend, little or a lot. Great job. Exhale to release. Arms come wide to a T. 3 forward, 3 back. Maybe changing up the size or the speed. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, rain it down. Inhale, halfway lift, figure 7. Let's pause here. We're going to add just a few movements. We're going to bend the right knee, place the right hand under the face, and then start to twist it out to the left, lifting the left hand behind us. Great job. Other side, drop the left hand, bend the left knee, start to reach the right hand out to the side and back. Beautiful job. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Pausing here, resting your hands where they are, or maybe bringing them up to airplane arms, hands by the side, palms face down, pinkies towards your hips. Exhale, release into your forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Slow roll to standing. Exhale to back bend. Pushing the hips forward. Great job. Inhale to release. Coming into your mountain. We may revisit that flow in just a little bit, but let's take a few other movements here in between. We'll come to our mountain pose. And let's take our left foot back to come into a warrior two or warrior one. So the toes are gonna be just a little bit to the side, hips pointing forward, knee bent. Hands can stay on hips, can come to a prop, or maybe they start to lift overhead alongside the ears. Just like with all warriors, we want to make sure we're hitting our foundational points. We're not feeling wobbly. Our feet are wide enough apart. We're squeezing our thighs together towards our abdomen, and our abdomen is pulling back towards our spine. Our spine is lifting up towards the ceiling. And we're strong warriors here. Great job. Let's have a little upper body movement here. So with your next exhale, let's cactus the arms, bringing a 90-degree bend into them, pulling the heart forward, maybe the gaze up. Great job. Exhale, bring hands to a prayer at heart center. And then we're going to flip our palms out, begin to push the air away from you, lengthening your arms. Great job with our next inhale. We're going to straighten that front leg, lift those front arms overhead. And with an exhale, we'll circle the hands around back. Maybe we grab opposite wrist, opposite fingers, opposite elbows, or simply grab our shirt. We'll draw the knuckles down towards the floor. And then begin to hinge over that front knee in a pyramid. You're welcome to step the back foot in one step if you'd like. And if you're noticing the stretch strongly in the ligament of the knee, bring a bend to the knee and see if that moves the stretch out of the knee and into the thigh. Now you can keep your hands on your hips, or you can start to lift them up. If you want a little more in the shoulders. For a little more stability, go ahead and release the bind, taking your hands down to leg, ground, or prop. Notice your breath here. Maybe coming back to those 5 questions. What feels like pain in this moment? Pleasure, sensitivity, or neutral? Am I moving out of fear? Am I moving out of self-love? All right, with our next inhale, go ahead and shift your weight to that front foot and step your back foot in for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift with airplane arms. Forward fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, and roll it up, tall mountain. Exhale, back bend. Inhale to bring it through center. Let the arms float down, mountain pose. Great job. Let's take that side 2. Step back, warrior pose, warrior 1. Take the time, build your foundation, ground up, squeeze those thighs, engage your core, shoot those hands up when you're ready. You're doing great. Exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze a grate between your shoulder blades. Inhale, prayer pose. Exhale, push the air away from you. Inhale, lengthen arms and front leg. Exhale, find your bind, but make it funky. Different thumb on top, different wrist on top, make it challenging in some way, or at least different. Draw the knuckles down. And then find your hinge inside that front leg. Hands can stay on hips, they can lift off, or they can come to a prop for support. Great job. If hands were lifted, go ahead and release them to hips and then down to floor or prop. We'll begin to shift our weight into that front leg as we step the back foot in, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, airplane arms, halfway lift. Now maybe lift one heel and then the other from your airplane arms. Great job. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, tall mountain. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, release. Beautiful flow there. Let's go ahead and take the feet a little bit wider than 5-pointed star. We'll take the toes out and the heels in. And then we'll bring the arms up and to 5-pointed star. Exhale, let's begin to bend into the knees and sink into the hips. A little goddess here. Feel free to sway or take any movement you need as you settle in. Great job. Let's take our right hand to our right hip, or maybe even slide it down the right leg as we take the left hand up and over into a side bend. Inhale back through center, other side. Now, as we take this for just a moment, feel free to straighten the legs and sink back in whenever you need to, but we're going to take this at our own pace. Left to right, a nice little side stretch pulse. Great job. Balance out both sides. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Go ahead and bring the heels in line with the toes. And then just like from that seated position, hands can stay wide or come together. Maybe you interlace your fingers. We're going to start to draw circles on the ceiling. Notice if your body is being rigid here. Ask yourself how you can find a little bit more fluidity. Are you moving from a place of love or fear? Great job. Make sure to reverse directions at some point. Great job. Come through center, release the arms. Go ahead and bring the toes back out, heels in, sink it back into your horse stance. All right, bring your hands to your legs. And from here, we're going to find a little cat-cow, pulling the heart forward and then rounding it. Beautiful job. Last time. Come through center, inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale to release. Step it to mountain. Alrighty, a little bit of balance challenge next for our moment. This can be something where if you want to use a wall for your hand or your foot, we're going to come into some dancer variations. You could also have your strap nearby to wrap around your foot if you'd like. So there's lots of options. So we'll start by shifting our weight to the right and beginning to find our left heel coming towards our hip. Now again, you can just hold it with your hand. You can hold your pant leg. You can bring it onto a prop, anything from a wall to a chair, anything in between. Or like I mentioned, maybe you're using a strip around the hip. Our goal here is to really draw the hip and heel as close together and draw that knee down, pointing towards the floor. Now you're always welcome to stay right here, balancing, finding a spot on the floor, keeping a bend in your standing leg. You could also start to explore drawing your knee a little further behind you, or even leaning the front of the body forward. Now your opposite hand can be stretched out in front of you. It could be resting on a prop, it could be on your hip. It's up to you. Make sure your back lifted foot is pressing into whatever surface you're using to hold it up. You're doing great. Last breath. Exhale to see how calmly you can release back to mountain. Great job. We'll take that on side 2. Shifting your weight to this opposite side. Beginning to lift that foot a little or a lot. And drop your knee towards the mat. Again, the options for props are pretty limitless, depending on your body. So make sure you're listening, but stretching through that front hip flexor, opening up through that front thigh muscle. And again, you're welcome to stay when you're standing upright dancer, or maybe at some point you start to extend the opposite arm, maybe drawing the knee back behind you a little bit. And finding your variation of dancer in this moment. And this time I'm leaving my foot a little lower on a low prop, but again, you can have it up close to your heel. Wherever you're at for your dancer, you're doing great. One last breath. And then we'll find that calmness as we lengthen the spine and release the foot. Great job. Feel free to take any movements you might want. All right, we'll come back into our mountain. Arms float up to a T. Taking arms in 3 circles forward. 3 circles backwards. Inhale, circle arms up. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, airplane arms, and maybe alternating or toe balance. So lifting one heel and then the other, or maybe lifting both heels if that's part of your practice. Great job. Heels come down, root to rise, tall mountain. Exhale, last one, back bend. And then this time we'll bring it right back down. Bringing hands towards the floor and stepping into a tabletop position. Feel free to add a little cushion under the knees if you'd like. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And then let's take it into a spinal balance. Start sending your left toes back, lengthening through the left leg. You can keep the foot on the floor and the toes tucked, or you can start to lift the toes a little or all the way up to hip height. This feels like enough of a challenge. Feel free to stay here or maybe lift right arm, sending it alongside the ears, pointing fingers away from you. Be very mindful here that you're pointing fingers and toes in opposite direction and you're keeping your spine lengthened without dipping into either shoulder or hips. Engaging that core. Great job. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, second side. Point fingers away. You're doing great. One last breath here. Exhale to release, tabletop. From here, push back to a seat. We're going to take a butterfly pose. Bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide. You can draw your heels as close to your hips as feels good. Let the knees float to the side. Maybe you keep your spine tall. Or maybe you go ahead and allow yourself to lean forward just a little. Opening up through those inner hips. Great job. Go ahead and come up to a straight spine. Take your left knee, let it float over towards your right knee. And then we're gonna take, you can take your hands behind you like we had them before. But we're gonna take our gaze and look it over towards the right. So we're twisting our upper body away from our lower body. From a seated position. All right, let the knees go to the other side, to the left. Twist your gaze to the right. Beautiful job. From here, we're gonna bring the knees back through center. If we're on any props, go and take them out of the way because we're gonna roll down onto our backs. Maybe take a rock from side to side. And then bring the left foot to the floor. The knee can stay bent in a constructive rest, or you could send the leg long. That feels better for your body. And let's hug that right knee into our chest. As we do, we'll start to take a few ankle rolls in one direction. And then the other. Great job. Hold behind that right leg and maybe grab your strap and then send the foot towards the ceiling. Point and flex. Great job. Exhale, bring a bend into this knee. We'll find a reclined figure 4, letting the knee fall out to the side. You can keep the left foot on the floor. You can extend the leg long for a more opening option. Or you can lift that left foot off the floor and thread the arms around the thigh for a more brought in option. Wherever you're at though, keep the neck lengthened and tuck the chin. Great job. If you lifted that left foot, go ahead and bring it back to the ground. And then we're going to take our right foot over towards the left side, taking it into a twist. Now that foot doesn't have to come to the ground. And you can even undo the bind if it feels like too much. Exhale to release, come through center. Go ahead and bring the right foot to the floor, hug the left knee in. Ankle rolls. And then reverse. Hold behind the leg, extend the leg, point and flex. Exhale, figure 4 of your choice. Again, maybe checking in with those questions. What feels like pain, pleasure, neutral, sensitive? Great job. All righty, if we have the right leg lengthened, go ahead and bring a bend into it, and then we'll take our twist, bringing that left foot towards the right side of the floor, twisting it out. And again, you're always welcome to make any adjustments here so that it can start to feel like relaxation. All right, exhale to unwind the spine, bring it back through a constructive rest or corpse pose of your choice. We're going to take our glasses, if we're wearing any glasses, and just set them to the side for a moment. And then we're going to start to rub our hands together. And you can start slow, and if that feels calming for you, you're welcome to stay in this slow pace. But if you'd like to start to build a little heat in your hands, start to rub them together vigorously. If you start to rub them together vigorously and then you stop enjoying it, feel free to go back to that slow, steady pace as well. But if you're rubbing them together vigorously, you start to build a little heat between your hands. And then once you get that heat between your hands, take the palm of your hand and just rest it against your closed eyelids, allowing the warmth to relax the muscles around our eyes. Allowing your breath to start to slow down. Maybe checking in with those questions. And then we'll take 2 fingers and bring them to either temple on either side of our forehead and start to take them in little circles. We'll start to give ourselves a little massage here, maybe moving around the forehead, rubbing the skin there, dragging those 2 fingers across the sinuses or around the eyes, down the nose, around the jaw. Take any movement here to give yourself a little self massage. Maybe you're sliding it down the jaw, maybe you're moving to the back and nape of the neck, or down the shoulders. Really any squeezing, rubbing, massaging that your body needs or wants. And again, asking yourself those questions. Does this feel like pain in my body? Does it feel like pleasure? Maybe there's a sensitivity. I hit a certain spot and it feels sensitive for some reason. Or maybe it just feels neutral or silly. Maybe I realize that it's a fearful moment or a loving moment. And then as you're ready, allow the hands to find rest as you move into your final resting pose of choice. You can continue with a corpse pose or constructive rest. You could take it into a legs up the wall variation, or really add any pillows, any blankets, any props, so that you can start to come into a place where you can relax on command. As you settle in, maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you simply soften your gaze, letting it blur over. As you allow your breath to find its intentional flow once again. Allow our breathing to start to feel like an ocean wave. Breathing in, it flows in. Breathing out, it crashes down. Maybe you close your eyes if you haven't already. And we'll begin to imagine ourselves settled in on a cozy beach of our choice. There's soft sand. And it's the perfect day for our ultimate comfort. Maybe it's sunny, poopy white clouds. Maybe it's just enough overcast. You feel comfortable walking or resting here in this space. But it's the perfect temperature. You take a deep breath in as you fill your lungs with the salty, humid air. As you rest back in this cozy spot in a chair or on a towel, maybe sitting on a rock face or a sand dune. As we expand our breath slowly, notice any thoughts that come into your mind and label them a thought. Let it drift away as you set it on a cloud without paying it any more attention as it floats on and returning your focus to the wave of a breath and the ocean in front of you. Maybe you allow your entire body to melt into the place in which you rest as you observe this place with all of our senses. We'll purposely deepen our breath, allowing it to become more rhythmic. Maybe we feel the soft light of the warm sun on our skin. Or maybe there's a cool breeze caressing you. Breathe in and breathe out. Gaze out over the brilliant gem-like hues of the ocean before you. Maybe sapphire, emerald, turquoise, or even jade. Notice the calm waves breaking in the distance. Are there small dunes dotting the beach? Or maybe rocky cliffs, wispy sea oats, tall, lengthy grasses, wildflowers aplenty. Maybe the sun peeks behind those white puffy clouds. The shadows creep across the sand. You notice the push and the pull of the ocean's force. You notice the sounds, crashes. Maybe you even dig your toes into the cold sand. Like the waves of the ocean, your breath flows in and flows out. Maybe the sweet floral scent of wildflowers mixes with the salty air you can almost taste. Maybe you notice sand falling through fingertips, if you pick any up. Taking a deep inhale. And as you exhale, maybe a sense of tranquility washes over you. You notice where the ocean meets the sand. The sand there becomes compacted with water as the soft waves crash and foam. And as you breathe the salty air in deeply, maybe you feel a light spray of ocean on your face or skin, instantly cooling. The taste of salt water on your lips. Cool breeze brushes past. As you notice the school of dolphins jumping playfully in the vast ocean horizon. The beach and the sun dries your skin as the salt water evaporates, causing the hairs of your body to tingle slightly with its salty evaporation. You notice a familiar V formation of birds as they soar along the ocean's edge. And you remind yourself to breathe in all the beauty that surrounds you. Maybe you smile, content in this moment, and at peace, having fully taken the time to explore this wondrous place. And knowing that you can always return here anytime your heart desires. There is only fear and love, and our lives flow between these two. We think of fear as just a wave in the ocean of love. And just as the wave is a part of the ocean, fear will come and fear will go, but it will dissolve into love. No matter how turbulent, tsunami-like the waves may feel in that moment, it is the ocean that holds it all. It is love that holds it all. It is love that is vast and wise. Take one last breath, our deepest breath of the day so far, as we allow our ocean front to fade from our memory. We start to come back to noticing the awareness of our external experience. Maybe the temperature of the air, sounds or smells in our environment. And then as we're ready, in our own time, in our own way, we'll come back to an upright position facing you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week. And those 5 questions can follow you into your week as you're doing things, finding moments of awareness. Am I in pain? Am I being sensitive? Am I in pleasure? Or is it just a neutral experience? Or am I choosing to do this out of love or fear? Thank you so much. Until next time.